Yeah, we still have to do some math. Okay. So, monomial times a binomial. So single terms times multiple terms. We probably don't need to do all of these. But just remembering that when we're multiplying here, we have to follow our multiplication rules. So we have to think about the rules that tell us that when we're multiplying, we have to add those exponents. So this works for any monomial times a polynomial. So when I multiply these, I do 5a to the second times 4a to the second. What do I end up with?
28.
I disagree with half of that. 8 to the fourth. You have to add those exponents. Because now we're multiplying versus adding and subtracting. Plus, 10a to the third. Very good, 10a to the third. And then minus 35a squared. Is that okay?
Yeah, buddy.
Do we need another example? We're right.
We're good.
Okay. So now we're talking about a binomial times a binomial, and that's where we do first, outer, inner, last. So you did FOIL. You can also use the box method. I'm guessing most of you guys are okay with FOIL.
Yep.
So first, outer, inner, last is just kind of trying to make sure we cover every part of this. So we're going to multiply all the parts together. So I'm multiplying 3m times m. Gives me 3m squared. Multiplying 3m times a negative 2. So negative 6m. 4 times m, so positive 4m. And then last is a negative 8. Now at this point, I kind of combine some like terms there. So there's some addition I can do in the center. So this is a negative 2m and then minus 8. All right. Are we okay on those?
Yeah.
All right. So if you're ready, you guys can flip the page.
I'm not ready.
Now, a binomial times a trinomial. So we're multiplying 2 terms by 3 terms. A little bit more complicated here. You just have to stay a lot more organized. Now, basically, just have to make sure all terms in the first set of parentheses get multiplied to all terms in the second. So you're distributing, it's essentially 2 terms times 3 terms. We should end up with 6 terms. Now I will show you guys that sometimes with this big of a problem, students like using this like rectangular method or this box method. And I'll show you guys that in case you prefer that. And I am going through this kind of fast because I'm thinking this is something you guys seem like you understand from Algebra 1, but I can always slow down and help you if you need it. So I'm multiplying 3a times a squared. That's going to be 3a to the third. That's what I get down here. First term times the first term. So it's just showing you guys a couple of different ways to do this. You don't have, like if you're like, I'm never going to use that way, then ignore this. If you're never going to use this way, then ignore this. It's up to you. 3a times a negative 5a is a negative 15a squared. Same thing down here. So I got from multiplying those 2 together. 3a times 1. Then I have to do the same thing with the 4. So all the way across with the 4. So this is being multiplied. And then last. So in this case then, I still have to combine like terms. Same thing up here. I have some like terms I can combine. So I get 3a to the third, so negative 15 of positive 4, so negative 11a squared, negative 17a, and then last is plus 4. So that would be our final answer in the standard form. All right, and these last couple, does anyone remember what's special about these? So these are not meant to trip you up, but they probably could trip you up. So we're used to all these exponent rules that I could just distribute that power in. You guys recall I put a big X through them and said we can't do that when it's 2 terms. Remember that? Do you remember what we would really need to do here if it says squared? What does that really mean? Multiply it twice. So I'm going to take this instead and rewrite it. Oops, not that way. Twice. I can't just distribute that power in. So distributing this power is a no-no, so don't do that. We have to write it twice. Now I can do FOIL. So first, outer. Now careful on this, the 2 variables, it's a little bit weird. It's going to be 6, but then we'll just write them kind of in the order they're in. Now once I have that order, I want to stick with that order because this inner term is going to be the same term. So I want to write it so it looks the same. And then last. So this middle term here can be combined. So 6 and 6 is going to be 12. And that's our final. And then number 10 is the third part. What would that mean we need to do?
Write it 3 times.
Write it 3 times. So you don't have to do one like that, but you would just do 2 at a time when you guys do that. So homework is listed here. Notice it does say to skip 45. Some of it's odds and some of it's all. So kind of keep an eye out on which part of that it is. Yeah. Yeah. What's that? You just have to write it 3 times? I can do it. So what I do then in one like this is I would do 2 of them at one time. So I can't do all 3 at once. I'm going to leave this one out in the front. And I'm going to combine some like terms here. And now I have to do what we just did up above. So with the 3 terms times 2. that's it. I might have done a math thing wrong, but. Yeah.